Real people. Real vibes. Diverse emotions.
What's good, everybody? It's Diverse Emotions Podcast. This is Kay.
It's Classy Touch.
Today we got the very talented, one of our good friends.
Let's go.
We got Brogan Bentley, bro. What's cracking,
Welcome.
fam?
What up, y'all?
How you doing, man?
I'm so glad to be here, man.
Man, we stoked to have you, bro. You're supposed to be our first guest.
That's
bro.
right.
Shit, well,
That's right.
Good things take time, you know.
Right.
This is the divine
believe it.
timing.
Yeah, I remember we was when we was planning everything with Diverse Emotions, we was like, bro, we gotta have Chet, the first one, but we was
Right.
waiting on the album.
That's right.
The album is here now, bro.
Yeah.
It wasn't time
Congratulations.
then. Now is the
Definitely,
time,
bro. Definitely wasn't time. But what's good with you? How's your weekend been? How's your day?
dude. It's just nonstop.
Yeah.
I just got back from LA. I was there for like what felt like 2 months. Had the release down there. Had a big release show that went really well.
Nice.
Yeah, we seen that. Shit
And
was
then
sick.
I'm here for like 3-4 nights, and then I'm taking off for the East Coast. Just,
Okay.
Tomorrow?
Yeah, early.
Nice.
Early.
Yeah, nonstop.
Jealous, bro. All right, well, let's start from the beginning, bro. Like, where you from? How'd you start getting into music?
Yeah,
What's your
man.
early background?
Let's see. So I'm from Los Angeles. I come from a long line of musicians. Let's see. My mom's family was Bay Area jazz musicians.
Whoa.
Yeah, I just found a picture of my grandfather from his student band in his Berkeley Middle School from like the 30s or 20s or something.
Damn.
Damn.
So it goes way back. And my mom's grandfather, he was singing at the Greek in the opera.
Wow.
Like way back, like late 1800s type shit.
Damn, so
That's
this is just
crazy.
embedded in you, bro.
Yeah.
And that's my mom's side. And then my dad's like this old school, like Texan cowboy blues head, like
Yeah.
psychedelic freak. And just like,
Let's go.
man, he's been in the music business for like 50 years now.
Really?
Yeah. So it's just kind of
The
like,
Bay Area?
No, he was in Texas and he was doing his thing in Austin. And then he came out to LA in 1980.
Nice.
And he's been there ever since. And then my folks met, and then here I am. And
Yeah.
I just came up in this shit, man.
Do you
So
have
how'd
any?
you-
Well, go ahead.
How'd you get to the Bay?
I came here for my undergrad in 2007. There was a bunch of like synchronicities that just kind of, the universe was like, you need to be in San Francisco.
Nice.
I couldn't deny it, man. I was just like, I wanted to be somewhere else for a different school, but like I said, the universe just had other plans for me.
What schools you go to?
I went to USF, where I met some of our mutual friends that kind of
Yes.
brought us together.
Yeah,
So I feel
definitely.
like it's just a long, winding road, man.
Yeah, for sure. Fuck.
Keeps going.
Yeah, over, still on it.
Do you have any siblings?
I have a little brother. He's an incredible musician. We just collaborated on some stuff. He's in like a metal project. I'm doing all like the orchestral scoring, ambient
Nice.
synth stuff for this like hardcore project that he's a part of.
What?
Tight.
So we're about to kind of flip that script too. I mean,
sounds
people
Yeah, I
aren't
seen
even
him on your
ready.
story.
Yeah,
Like
he's a
last week or
savage,
so,
dude.
dude.
They just played their first big festival, despite all the COVID insanity. Like they were in Vegas, crushing it.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah, big
Hardcore
things.
as in, so he's in a band.
Yeah, he's in a couple projects.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sick.
like death metal, and then he's in like a hardcore project. You know that big show that happened in the encampment down
Yeah.
the Dead City Punks?
Yeah.
So that's his bandmate throwing those shows.
What?
That's
So-
crazy.
Damn, so he must be doing something
Yeah,
sick
yeah.
then if he's rocking with them.
Yeah, he's like the hitter, man. I don't know,
Hey.
something about the Bentley boys. We just got the touch.
Go on.
The Bentley boys.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Have you ever wanted to move back to LA, or is it just like, nah?
You know, I've stayed connected. I
Yeah.
never really lost touch with what's going on down there, just because the label that I work with, Leaving Records, has been based there all the while, and my family being down there, and all my old friends are still down there, and people
Yeah.
that I'm collaborating with are there, based there. So I'll pop down there for a month or two at a time, even.
Yeah.
You know, whatever needs to get done. But you know, I've called the Bay home for like almost 15 years now, and
Ooh-wee,
being
yeah.
connected to like my ancestry on my mom's side with like old school Oakland vibes, and just passing by the house that my grandmother was raised in, like over there. It's like right off Piedmont. It's like old Oakland.
Nice.
Sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, yeah, the music you've been making forever has been crazy, bruh. So how do you typically describe the music that you make? What do you call it?
Damn, that's the best question. And I usually like to hear other people answer it because I don't think about it when I'm making it. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously there's things that I'm influenced by, like
Right.
jungle, like UK garage, two-step, like all the IDM stuff of like the 90s and just lots of UK underground influence, but then there's like the West Coast vibe.
Right.
Just being a product of California and like having never really lived outside of California, there's just like, I was describing it the other day. There's just so much influence that arrives here from all over the world.
Everywhere.
I mean, everyone wants to come to the West Coast, so we just have all these like, I mean, shit, man. I'm as influenced from like old psychedelic stuff from the 60s as I am from like, you know, I mean, whatever's happening out here right now.
Right.
You know?
Right. And there's a lot happening out here still.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all over the place, man.
Yeah, it just sounds like to me, your sound just sounds like you created a new genre. You know what I mean? Like it has the jungle, it has like the psychedelic feel with it. You know, a lot of people are doing that, but it seems like the album that you just came out with, it is just in its own lane. You feel me? Like, and you've been telling me you're making this album for a long time. We've been talking about it, even showing me little snippets and things like that. But like, it's never what I remember. You know what I mean? I feel like even the same songs have grown and changed. You feel me?
Yeah, I mean, I was showing you guys were some of the only cats that I was sharing the new stuff with before it was actually finished or like out in the public, because just like the friendship that we've all shared and like meeting you, Scoob, more recently, and like just seeing kind of your path like towards DJing and production, just like being inspired by your energy as well. And like Caleb, you're like a flagship of like creativity in the Bay. Like,
thank you.
Like straight up, man. As long as I've known of you, you know, like before I even knew you personally, I knew like about you just through our mutual friends, and just like it felt right to share that stuff with you guys. But I'm very private, you know. I'm not the type of person to really like put myself out there in certain ways and be like, check me out, like this is what I'm doing. I'm very like insular, and my creative process is also very like shrouded, you know, and like I wear the cloak, my invisibility cloak.
Yeah, you tuck off, bro. You tuck
so
away, and then
man.
you just come out with an album, bro. Like, I'm pretty sure people who aren't in contact with you, like how we are, they probably like, where the fuck is Chet been at? Probably see you at the farmer's market or something like that, bro.
That's the only place they're gonna find me, bro. I swear. And maybe some other cutty spots, like I'll hit the record store still and the farmer's market, but like I kind of had to tap out, you know. It's like there's only so much you can do outwardly before you gotta like. I just knew the work had to get done, and the only way to do that was to kind of like go super inward and like be very isolated, and like sacrifice a lot of things that like we take for granted when we're like out in the world, like being social creatures, you know. But strangely enough, the timing was just like we didn't have a choice, you know. So the tail end of this record was kind of made in the whole like spiritual transformation of what COVID brought on.
Yeah, I feel that, because like that's sort of what me and Scoob are going through right now. We're like in a tuck mode. You feel me? Like we're trying to just tuck and just start and just keep building. You know what I mean? And it's hard it's hard with all the distractions living in a big city. You feel me? Like how do you cope with that? Like how do you make sure that you don't have those temptations, or like you hear about something sick to do and you just stay tucked and get to the music?
You know, I think it's just the balance, because I still go out, you know. I was still catching shows when I could, and even still like with the new mandates, like I'm still going out and seeing stuff, but like, man, it's just the balance, you know, like being real with like what's more important, and also like giving myself the freedom to like just live and not be so hard on myself all the time, because I'm like really hard on myself, you know. I like just lots of like just like weird like kind of like self-defeating, like you're not shit type energy that I'm like, you know, carrying from my like childhood trauma or whatever the fuck it is, you know. It's just like, dude, I have to like give myself some room to just like do what I gotta do. But definitely that comes down to like just being like, shit, I gotta work, you know. Like I'll go crazy if I know that I have to work and I'm not doing it. You know what I mean? It's just like eating it. I can't be present for anything else.
That's
kind of the deal.
That's kind of where I'm at right now. It's just like, man, I know I got some stuff I need to do, but it's just like, I just got to put myself there. Sometimes that's all it takes, is you putting yourself there, and then it'll just like open up for you.
It can't be forced either. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can, but you can kind of set yourself up for success. You know, it's like kind of like getting in the daily ritual, or making sure that all the gear's set up at all times, so that I don't have to like get organized. It's just like you said, coming into your space and everything's just good to go. And the next thing you know, you're like flowing. It's 5 a.m. and you're just like, what is sleep? Like, I'm just working. This isn't, at a certain point, it's not work. It's just what you love doing. And that's kind of like, I think where a lot of us can relate, because it's just like, this is just what makes us happy.
you got this album that just came out, which we're going to talk about soon. But this is not your first album.
No, I've been working with the same label since 2012.
Okay.
And
the label?
Leaving Records.
Nice.
Matthew David. He's from Florida and Atlanta, but he's been in LA for like a long time, and
Nice.
he's just kind of like built this really beautiful thing with the label that he's been making happen.
Yeah.
But dude, we've been knowing each other through the Dub Lab crew, which is like an online radio station that came out of LA like many years ago, and now they're like kind of like really established and just kind of like a really important thing for Los Angeles culture.
Nice.
And dude, yeah, I've just been knowing Matthew for a long time. Like, put out the first EP 2012.
That was the Brogan Bentley, right?
Yeah, that was 3 tracks.
Okay.
And it was only on cassette. And then 2014, end of 2014, The Snake came out.
Right.
That was like my first LP, and that was like a huge deal.
Right.
You know, and like a lot of cool stuff came from that. And that was like 7 years ago though.
How did you get that affiliated? Because it's on the Stones Throw website. How did that happen?
Well, Stones Throw and Leaving combined forces for a couple of years.
Sick.
Pretty much right when The Snake came out. I was like one of the first things that Leaving and Stones Throw they put their stamp on it, you know? But since then, that relationship has actually shifted, and Leaving is more back in their own lane. But, I mixed the album in the Stones Throw studio that my
Nice.
good friend Jake Viator is the partial owner of.
Okay.
And, mixed and mastered there. So there's just like, there is that aspect of the influence,
Right.
and the Stones Throw legacy of
Right.
like, if you look into that catalog,
It's crazy.
it's insane.
It's an issue.
So around that time of the album, The Snake, is that when you had the Boiler Room set?
Yeah. That's
That was insane. When I seen that on, I was like, I sent that to Scoop. I was like, bro, Chet is on fucking Boiler Room, bro. I was like, what the
Quick.
fuck? And at that time, we was just watching loads of those guys. When
Right.
we came back from Europe, and we was just like, they're not having shit like that out here. And
Right.
we was like, what the fuck? Like,
Dude, how
Bentley's
did
on
that
there.
come about?
My man Julian, my publicist, he's just like he's just ahead, He's
Right.
always looking out for me, and he hit me up. He's like, hey, I got a show for you. And I was like, all right, what? Boiler Room. And it was just like, it's kind of one of those things that everyone like, that people are paying,
right.
people are paying attention to that,
Right,
and
right.
it was just a really positive experience. But it was also kind of surreal, and it
Yeah.
also like is still hard for me to watch. Like, I don't really revisit
Oh, I'm
these
not that
types of
type
things,
person.
Yeah,
it's
I feel you.
like kind of too much. It's like a moment in time.
yeah, I hear that.
Man, I need a fucking publicist, man. What am I doing?
For real.
God, dude. Well, there's certain things that artists just should not be left to. It's almost like
Yeah, I respect
I'm
that.
really getting
so
to that
much.
point myself. It's just like some of the things that I'm like where I'm at right now is just like in such a purely creative space that like trying to do any of the other things outside of that is just kind of like it's a head warp. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's the crazy thing now about like with social media and everything is like everyone expects you not to only be the artist, they expect you to be the promoter, the make your own videos. You know what I mean? Just like everything into one. When in reality, like we have to have professionals who are good at each part of that job in order for us to be the best possible
Right.
we can and focus just on the art.
Right.
Totally. There's only so much. I took on everything that I possibly could. I saw the videos through for this album. I saw every aspect of the media
Right.
and like the rollout. But at a certain point, there comes a time to like bring in other
Right.
influences and,
Right.
and people's different strengths, because there's only so much one person can do.
Oh my god. But
So we got how do you say it? Diapason
Dis-
Rex?
Diapason.
Diapason Rex, bruh. So
Yeah.
before we get into the actual album,
Yeah.
besides like making the music, like what was your process into making that album? Like what inspired you to make the album? Like
Dude.
did you like not only like were you like, all right, I need to make these kind of beats, whatever, separate from the music? Like what'd you do in your life? Like what brought you to making that album?
Well, that's the crazy part because this thing like spans like 7 years of my life, and I feel like 7 years. There's certain philosophies that say like things happen in 7-year cycles, and it's true for me.
I've heard that.
You know what I mean? And
yeah.
so like where I was in the beginning of this process was so different than where I am now.
Yeah, totally.
And like the oldest track, Phantom, is like I started that like right when The Snake was finished. So like early 2015. And then like everything that's happened since then, I mean, I could write a book about it. You know, it's like too much to put into words, but it's all encapsulated in the music. You know, like I could literally pinpoint like this section of this song is when such and such happened, or I was doing this or that. You know what I mean?
Short documentary,
real story,
dude. I mean, we could get into it. You know, if I mean, I like those details because like when I'm tapping into artists and like, you know, I love learning about the process.
Yeah,
like, that's the most inspiring part when I'm checking out interviews and like learning like what artists we're listening to or like who they're inspired by.
Go through that rabbit hole,
dude. Seriously, and that's how I get put on game. You know,
right? How did you come up with the title? Where did that come from?
Dude, I came across that word diapason like many years ago in a dictionary, and it just like spoke to me. To me, the definition that I stuck with was burst of harmonious song.
Whoa.
And I'm like, damn, there's a word to describe that? Like, that's tight. In English, I mean, other languages have like really involved words that like mean these ornate things, but I'm like, okay, English, this word like is resonating with me. And then the Rex kind of refers to like the crown, you know, and this like, to me, this album feels very like regal, almost like this like cosmic royal burst of like otherworldly sounds, you know, and then like the crown chakra, and then I mean, just like these two words kind of fit for me together, and like at a certain point it just clicked. It's like at a certain point this art is just like decided for you, you know. It's like it just presents itself. It's like, okay, this is what the album's called now. Like you don't really have to think about it.
Yeah, I heard that.
It's wild.
Damn. Yeah, I was reading your review on Resident Advisor. Shout out to them for giving me a good review on that.
Sick.
And I read about your one of your best friends who passed away in a car accident, and your grandma passing. So how'd that play into your album, or just into your lifestyle while making the album?
Yeah, it was really wild because I was working on this piece of music, you know, just kind of like sitting with my one synthesizer that I have like this like 15-year relationship with at this point. It's like an extension of me, you know. These instruments are like your tools are like. This is me. You know what I mean? So I was sitting with this piece of music, and then all this wild shit started happening during this process. I was like, I was kind of like meditating with this music for like hours, you know, and like getting all these like kind of like visions, if you will, and like receiving information. Because I feel like music is like you're channeling information. I think any art, I don't care what it is, if you're writing poetry or like really doing your thing with painting, like you're channeling some sort of like other information that's like transmitted into you. Right. And so the next day after this like 7-hour piece of music that I was just sitting with, that later went on to become the track The Keeper. Like that process later evolved into The Keeper. But like the next day I found out that my homie had been hit and killed by a drunk driver. Wow. Like as I was working on that piece of music.
Fuck.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And so I really feel like some of that information that I was being transmitted was like, he was giving it to me, or his spirit on the way out was like, here. You know, and the lyrics kind of come from this place of like being guided by this like all-knowing hand that's like beyond the human realm, you know? Right. But that's what music is to me, you know? It's this like something way bigger. And I swear to God, dude, like my homie's spirit like gave me that piece of music and the poetry behind it. And then my grandmother, like I'll spend a year on a track, like no lie. Like, so The Keeper was like the last one that I actually worked on for the album. So during that time, my grandmother passed, and like, dude, I was like recording vocals the next day as I was like still processing, you know what I mean? Just like, it's all in the music. And whether or not you know the stories that are like, that make up the songs, it's like embedded in there. And I think that's why it translates, you know? That's why a stranger can listen to this stuff, not even knowing this stuff, but like it still has the weight, you know?
It's in there.
It's there.
Oh, it's there.
Yeah.
It's there. You said you started making Phantom. You started that was like one of the first tracks you made. To me, that it has this crazy Seal / Trevor Horn vibe to it. Like what's the story behind that song?
Dude, that's like that's my Bieber moment, you know. I'm hitting those highs. I got the vocals cooking. Like that's like the foremost vocal track on the album, if you will, where I'm very much like on some like singing stuff. Everything else is like all mysterious and like, but no, that one was just like boom, like here I am.
Right.
But it also, if you look at the lyrics and kind of the content and vibe of that song, it's a very like, it's a painful song,
right.
you know? And there's lots of, I think on this album, there's lots of shadow work, stuff that I was like working through that was really hard for me, but it's all through the music that I have this outlet.
Right.
But I mean, the whole song's about being alone and like feeling isolated and just feeling lost, you know? And I think that's where I was at that point in time.
Yeah.
But there's a hopefulness too.
Yeah.
You know?
I like that song. It's really good.
I've heard from other people too that they'll keep that one on repeat.
It's so good.
Yeah, my favorite song is Trust Yourself.
Dude.
That one is crazy, bro. Like, I feel like it brings me back to like 2008, 2009, some like crazy Crystal Castles shit. Like some psychedelic, like dance, but like euphoric DMT trip shit. You know what I mean? Like your whole album sounds like that. You feel me? But that song, like I was listening to it in the car yesterday and it was nighttime too. And I was just like, yo, this is fucking some like good creepy shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It is dark. It's like very ethereal.
Yeah.
Like really dark. It's very synth heavy, but it's still uplifting, which is what I love about it. It's so good.
I mean, that's kind of what I'm exploring is the shadows and the underbelly of our consciousness, but like finding light in that and bringing something beautiful out of those like really challenging moments in our lives. But I mean, that song specifically is like, it's so detailed in the first half, and like these drums are just so like heavy programmed and just like really microscopic details that I was tweaking on. I was I had to like go super like laser focused on that. And then halfway through the track, it flips and it's this whole different vibe.
Right.
And I love the idea of like being one place in one moment and then like in the blink of an eye, you're somewhere entirely different. You know, and that to me is like astral traveling. You know what I mean? That's how you can transport from like one realm to another really quick. And people don't even know what the hell happened to him by the time the song's over. You know, it's just like
dream.
I feel that. Yeah, the shadows is definitely like a good way to describe the album. You know what I mean? It's talking from the shadows for sure, you know? And why do you choose, or what's the process of, because you know most songs you listen to, like you can hear like full on, like we're talking into the microphone, hearing what this person's saying or singing. You're like it's like I'm in the field and I just hear like a fucking spirit just talking over me. You know what I mean? Like I'm in like one of those little snow globe balls, bro, and someone's looking at it talking.
in the snow globe. Damn. I love that. Well, that's like I said, that's kind of where the music's coming from. It's not like this like heavy narrative, like here's a story, son. But I love that kind of music where it's like literally someone's just telling you a story. Like I love old folk songs that just like, here's 3 chords in a story. I'm like, I'm gonna make some of that stuff too. But this project, this music is all just very like from the ether, you know, and like just these whispers,
Seriously.
like things you catch out of the corner of your eye, or these like these voices that are like whispering like information to you. It's like, dude, I want to make music that reminds me of that.
You know that feeling when you're at the house and like you're like where you just spooked or something, and then like you're about to go into your room or you're about to run up the stairs. Me and Hannah was talking about this, and like there might not be something there behind you, but you feel like there's just something on your back.
Something's there.
Something right there, bro.
Something's
That's
there.
like a feeling. You know what I mean?
Dude, that's the spirit realm.
Right.
These things, we can't see them, but we feel them.
Right.
You know, and it's wild because I was just hanging with a family friend yesterday who her husband just passed on Sunday. You know, and she was like giving me all these old clothes of his, and it's like his spirit was there.
Really?
Like there's just like sometimes this stuff is very fleeting. It's like, oh yeah, spirituality. Like okay, yeah, there's like energies in the room, but it's like when the man's just passed, you know, and you're like in his family home, and like they're giving you his old like vests and his old like
that he just wore last week or something.
Swear. I mean, but that's like the depth of this connection to this family, and like just like that special to me, and like for them to bestow those things to me, I'm like, this is like really powerful spiritual stuff right now.
Yeah.
Were you working on the album when you were living in Alameda too?
Yeah, that's where I mean, I went through a couple different environments, but those 2 years in that apartment in Alameda,
That space is sick.
That was a spot. That's where Stunny and I tracked the vocals, you know?
Yeah, the work,
Nice.
bro. That
Okay.
song. Let's talk about that. How'd that come about?
Oh my God.
Shout out Stunny too, bro. Stunny's like a young artist from Oakland who lives in LA and now just grinding, making songs.
You know, I
every
caught
day,
up with
trying
it.
to
That's
make
who we went to go see in LA after,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Got it.
Well,
Remember
Stunny
that.
is the truth, man. And you don't have to, you can meet him once and know that this kid's like in it for the heart, you know? And it's like, it's just he's one of those people. It's like, we make music and we make art because we have to.
Right.
It's not for any other reason. This is the one thing that keeps us together. You know what I'm saying? So linking with Stunny just felt really natural. But that's the thing. I was hearing a rapper on this track for like the 2 years that I was working on it or so, just hearing this vocal part, you know? And it's like, that's the thing about a lot of this music. It's like, it's heard long before it exists. You know, it's almost like envisioned in my mind's eye. And then like, it's just about me kind of like stirring the cauldron enough to like bring it to life. And so eventually when Stunny finally like, cause he's a slippery fish, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
He's a hard one to pin down. You know, he's a rare one. So when I finally got him at the crib, I was just like, I looped a part of the beat, you know, and just like a tiny section of the track, because the track goes all over the place.
Right.
But I was like, all right, here's just like an 8-bar loop, and you just like spit, and like I'll do my thing to it later,
Right,
you know.
right.
But I didn't even want to tell him too much, because it's just like, dude, just like
Do something.
off top, just like being like whatever you're inspired to talk about. And he wrote this incredible flow. He just semi-freestyled it and then wrote some stuff out. It was cool observing his process too,
Right.
you know, and just that collaboration. And it's like, you can't force these collaborations.
Yeah.
It's very, I mean, I work mostly alone,
Right.
but to like bring someone into a project that means so much to me, it has to be like really organic.
Right.
So dude, Stunny killed it.
Yeah.
And then
he
I just
killed it.
flipped the shit out of the vocals and just took
Yeah,
it.
and then we shot the video.
We
That
shot
shit
the
was
video.
hella fun, bro. That day was so fun.
And the video turned out amazing.
Yeah, that shit was.
I'm, like, really
sick.
proud
We're
of
in the
that stuff.
forest,
Okay.
and we was just like, and it didn't even take long. That's how you know, like, the energy between us three was just like crazy. We just came there, just pulled the camera out,
And went.
told Stunny to rap.
Okay.
He was directing, telling Stunny what to do, and it just came out to this crazy project. And remember that car was stuck in the railroad tracks
Yes.
in Jack London, and then
Yes.
and then these cops like called us over to help him. We was like, I don't know about that, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
Did you guys end up helping him?
no, he didn't.
They had it figured out, but that's
Right.
that's just the magic of the moment, you know. And like when awesome people get together for like the right purpose, like so much magic happens,
Right.
you know. And like there's no way of telling what that'll look like, but when it shows up, you're like, oh yeah, like this is it. Like and if you watch the video closely, there's moments where there's like red and blue lights in the background, and then like the cops are like flashing their flashlights as we're like walking down the tracks, like get off the track. Just like, dude,
Right. It just it was effortless.
it opened up.
Yeah,
Right.
it was
That's
it was easy because it was fun.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Do you have a favorite song on the album?
They're all so important to me, dude.
Right.
Like every single one, like is like an encapsulation of this like moment in time, or like a long period of time. Because like I said, I'll spend like a year on a track.
You know, that actually brings me to another question that I had as I was listening to it. It's like you took a while to create this album, and it's like you said that all the songs kind of just came to you. It wasn't like you sat down and said, I'm going to make this type of song. It's kind of something that came through you. But at the same time, like there's a cohesiveness through all the songs that is just like, it's hard to listen to it and not think that you were like saying, I was going to make this style song that will kind of and it fits with the other songs that you've already made. Like, how did that work for you? Or is it just like the space that you were in that 7-year period?
I think it's just me. I think that's
Yeah.
just my energy coming through the music, you know. Like obviously the stuff comes from somewhere else, but it's got to move through me.
Right.
And that's not to say that sometimes I have a very clear focus of what I'm trying to bring to life.
Right.
It's this unique thing of like pure experimentation and just being really open to what the music's asking of me.
Right.
And then like going after like a super focused vision, you know, but all the while it's like, I mean, certain things don't change, you know, like the gear, like
Right.
so a lot of the gear I was using was like consistent throughout. And meanwhile, my process was evolving and I was getting like more advanced technically with a lot of my stuff and like buying nicer pieces. But
Right.
like, dude, certain things don't change, and certain things don't change about us in a lifetime. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like we're still the same person we were when we were children.
Right.
And if you observe a really old person, they're like children once again, you know? So it's just like, it's just this amalgamation. It's like we don't change all that much in a lifetime.
Yeah,
Right.
this is true.
Right.
And the visuals for the album, I know like you're not, I don't know, like I don't know too sure if you're not the type of person to be in front of the camera, but like I feel like you're more into the music and the visuals just playing instead of you just being in front of the camera and just be like, this is my song. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of like why Phantom was a big deal, that video where I'm very much front and center and like
With the lights and
Right,
everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
and just like me like singing in front of a camera and like just feeling very like exposed
Vulnerable.
because the song's about being hidden, you
Right.
know? And so it's interesting that the video could be about like being vulnerable.
Right.
But otherwise, you know, I like abstract art. You
Me
know,
too.
I like things that aren't too descriptive and that give you kind of room to play. And so the art was very, albeit intentional, it still maintained this kind of abstract aesthetic throughout, and that was all by design, you know. And I worked really closely with one of my best friends and collaborators.
Your album cover describes everything you're just talking
Right.
about.
Yeah.
Right. You made that cover.
No, that was Eric Wilson, who is like an old friend of mine, and only recently have we like literally synced up like super heavy on this project, and
Yeah.
it like brought us super close together. We were sharing like psychic we were like reading each other's minds by the end of this process. 'Cause,
Yeah.
dude, album art, like every digital piece of media that we produce, like all the video stuff, like homie had a hand in every single
That's
thing.
sick.
Like I couldn't have done any of this without him, really. So shout outs Eric Wilson, amazing SFAI alumni, and just like
Damn.
someone I was like crossing paths with. That's
He's
the
the one
thing.
who edited the video?
He did some of the editing. He did all of the ecstasy video. He did all those crazy motion graphics,
Right.
and then he had his hand in just about everything.
That's like the cover. The cover, I was looking at it today. I was actually staring at it. I'm just like, man, this thing is moving. It's moving. It's sick.
It's in motion, yeah. And
Yeah.
we printed out. We had some big wheat pastes done. Like
Oh, I've seen that in LA, right?
I got like a couple left, like just for me to have, like
Yeah.
3 foot by 3 foot. And like when you see this shit blown up, it's like, dude, this is like incredibly
Right.
like involved artwork
Right.
that we like went in on. Like we
Yeah.
spent like a year on the album cover alone.
Fuck.
You can feel it. You can
Yeah,
feel it.
definitely.
It's there.
Fuck, that was-
Good things take time, man.
They do.
This stuff cannot be rushed, you know? And that's the thing. Like, I wanted this album to be out and finished years ago, but
Right.
realistically, half the stuff that made the final cut wasn't even made until like, 2 years ago.
Right. You're actually inspiring me to finish this piece of work. The only people that even heard it is like a couple people, you two. I know I showed it to you two, but it's just like, yeah, that's something that I know I need to work on and put out for sure. Yeah.
It'll happen.
But what do you feel like you'd be doing right now if you weren't making this album, besides making this album?
Dude, that question scares me, man, because like even when I was hella little, I was getting in a lot of trouble, like I guess looking back, I had like behavioral issues, and music was always the one thing that kind of like kept me still, centered, focused, happy, healthy. You know what I mean? And as I
Right.
got older, it became more and more like vital. But I think that like had I not had, I don't think there was ever, my life was never gonna exist without music. I was born into this family. But man, I don't even want to think about it. You know what I mean? I'd probably be
Yeah.
like hopping trains and like just fuck
Going
dude.
at
I don't even
going
know.
at life from all angles.
So
knows?
besides from the music, what's life? I know music is your life, but like what goes on in your life, like everyday life? I know you don't have to tell people too much is going on.
Yeah, no, I'm
at
happy.
the
I'm
house
happy
solo,
to
but,
share it.
like,
Yeah, I'm happy to share. I mean, I'm a very
you're just telling us some crazy story about your shirt.
Yeah, I mean,
Company on your shirt.
I'm a very private person, but I like sharing with y'all, and like I feel like this is a good opportunity to kind of like let people know what I'm up to, because otherwise I'm just like tucked,
Right.
So yeah, man, I do a lot of like I said, I hit the farmers markets. That's kind of like my routine. Like I'll kind of like base my week around what farmers markets I'm going to, just try and stay
Nice,
healthy and
nice.
eat organic. And
Yeah.
it's far out when you go to certain places because you see like-minded people.
Right.
So I'm always just kind of like people watching and tripping out on like I'll go to a lot of record stores, a lot of farmers markets. You can pop me just about anywhere and I'm pretty satisfied. Like I'll just post stuff at Jack London and just like chill out, just like, but I have my like rituals. I got my rituals. I do, I've been doing a breathwork practice that I end each day with right before bed.
Nice.
And that's like incredibly helpful, you know, because for a long time I was just like, all this energy, all these like thoughts swirling around, like I got to do something to like get focused. And so
being on the phone before bed,
dude, that stuff starts messing with your brain, you know?
It does mess with my brain, bro.
Yeah. So yeah, and like as a result of kind of like wanting more structure, I was guided to some teachers, you know what I mean? Like I called that in, and I found a teacher that I'm working with. Shout out to my dude Daniel, Whole Sky Rescue. He's just this incredible dude who's bringing a lot of information back from the Amazon and kind of sharing it in a way that's not so it's not so reliant on the ayahuasca ceremonies as it is like the just the healing, you know, and like the consciousness expansion that, like, you know, the plant medicine is like a big part of it, but like really like this stuff is here for us all the time, anywhere. You can access it like anytime if you know how to like tap in.
Right. It is like if you do use the medicine, it's good, but it's just like you still got to come back here.
Yeah.
You still got to deal with here.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the most important tools at times, because yeah, man, sometimes you kind of get lost in what it did for you as opposed to
would you benefit from it?
Yeah, and just like how to maintain what it did for you, which is the real work, you know?
Well, yeah, I guess they call that integration.
There it is.
You know, and for me, just if I'm being honest with my body and with myself, like I need a lot of rest, you know, and I need a lot of alone time. And that's how I charge up, and that's how I'm able to like step out into the world and be like happy and healthy and like good to other people. Because if I'm like out there like feeling like a shell of a man and just like in no condition to like be interact, you know what I mean? We've all been there. It's like shit's tough out there if you're not like fortified, and like sometimes you got to put on that like armor before you hit the town, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Even with the people you love.
Especially with the people you love, because I feel like they're the ones who get the short end of the stick if you're not, you know, taking care of yourself. Unfortunately, it's easy to like shoot the shit with a stranger, but you can't really fake the funk with like your loved ones, you know?
Yeah. So I have a question that we ask like most people who come on here, and especially asking you because your album is like very psychedelic. Do you have any experience with psychedelics? You know,
psychedelics were like really big for me growing up.
Yeah.
But I always like was very like cautious, because I saw some things happen to people that I cared about that really freaked me out. And it took them down. You know what I mean? And I think being as sensitive as I am, I was afraid of doing some irreversible damage, you know what I mean? But yeah, growing up in LA, there was you just get exposed to a lot of stuff. And I think in the Bay too, you know? So I'm really grateful that I had my like formative experiences, and that I took a major step back, and like, I didn't do the whole thing where it's like you get to college and then you just trip your ass off, because I saw that happen too. Like people getting, you know, dropped in my school was like a block from Haight, you know, a block from Golden Gate Park. I watched the homies dose on like bad bunk LSD and have like terrible trips that they kind of never recovered from, you know? Man. So I think approaching those things now as an adult, like with all the more like just informed perspective, you know, and just respect, like
do them respectfully and do them responsibly.
Absolutely. I mean, as with all the things in my life that I'm trying to do, you know what I'm saying? Like I've been so reckless, dude, I could be hella self-destructive. And I think, you know, I might have seen you in my more wild.
Yeah, we used to go crazy, especially when I first met you. I used to be DJing in the city. And like, those days are wild. Like 2013 and like
my God.
14 in those days, 15, 16.
Dude. Yeah, there was just hella years of like just absolutely reckless, like self-destructive, like almost like, I mean, it looks fun, and it is fun sometimes for a little bit before it's not.
It gets played out.
Yeah, dude. But then if you just like don't know how to stop, you know, like I didn't know how to stop. Like it really came to a point where I was like, damn.
Yeah, if you don't know how to stop, life always finds a way to stop. It's gonna stop.
Well, balance is restored one way or the other.
Always.
You know? Or you can resist it with everything you got, and then the hammer comes down even harder. So I didn't want to keep pushing my luck, and I just kind of surrendered to the universe and was like, all right, I'm like show me what else.
So you just not on the psychedelics anymore, or like?
Well, that was mostly booze. That was my you know, booze was what was like really ruining my life. And like just coming from like a long line of like alcoholics, you know what I'm saying? Just like that was something that I had to totally quit.
Cut off.
Just completely, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like it's weird being a young person who like, you know, that's what you do when you're young.
Right.
You're like, what the fuck else are you gonna do? You're DJing all the time. All the booze is free. You know what I mean? I kind of set myself up to have this like perfect like party lifestyle, and then you realize it's actually like I created my own little like living hell.
Right.
Because it was just a cycle. You know, I could not break it, even though I wanted to. So eventually, I had this like moment with God, which was like, "You're done," and I was like, "Okay." Like I was like so like freaked out, and I was like, "I'll do anything to just like stop this pain."
Damn.
So how long has it been now?
2.5 years.
Nice.
How's that journey been?
The best. You know, I mean, it's just so it's so normalized to like abuse our spirits and just be like, you exist in society, you have to perform, you have to be this, that, and the other. And it's like, of course we're gonna self-medicate.
Right.
You know, of course we're gonna like try and minimize that. I speak for myself, but like, you know, it makes sense to try and like change the way we feel when we feel like shit all the time. And then eventually the thing that was making me feel better for a long time started making me feel even worse. It's just like a vicious cycle, you know? So yeah, being able to like pull myself, or I was pulled out of that by some kind of higher power, you know what I mean? Because like I tried for years on my own to quit and I just couldn't. You know, it came a point, you know, but I had my run.
I feel like there's a lot of people right now that's fighting that battle,
Right.
you know, especially with COVID going on, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people aren't able to see their loved ones, and people have like this EDD money, and they're able to just get this money and just go out and do certain things. But like, I even felt like that, you know what I mean? Like, and I have recently, I feel like it's just like getting too much. And then like I go through a month or something and I'm just keeping it cool. And then after that, I just like fall back into it. Like it's a constant battle.
Dude, it's tricky, you know? And I realized that I couldn't outsmart this shit, you know, as much as I thought I had.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, man, like COVID just kind of like shoved all our shit in our face.
It did. I feel like, I think as the times has been going and progressing, it's just like the universe is making it to where you can't hide behind any of your stuff anymore. And whatever it is that you have been hiding behind, it will be exposed very quickly, and it won't. It's like, and it will be exposed to everyone. So it's not even something that you can really hide from others, because like everybody will see it now. It's just like this instant reveal, instant karma all the time. Like everything just vibrating differently, and the way information is coming to us and being presented to us, it's just way more rapid, especially about each other. Like the impressions that we're getting is just way more clear. There's nowhere to hide anymore.
Well, the veil's been lifted, you know, and if we're talking about like, you know, let's just go straight into it. If we're talking about like Mayan prophecy and like, you know, the 2012 Armageddon that they were all saying, you know, like, and apocalypse, like apocalypse means like the lifting of the veil. It doesn't mean like hellfire raining from the sky. It just means like whatever we were using to cloud our vision, the illusion is up. You know what I mean?
Jigs up.
So you're so right, man. And it's just like, it's a heavy time for a lot of people, because we're just like looking at all the stuff that we've been like able to ignore for so long. Like this is it, man. Like we are literally going through our conscious, our shift in human consciousness.
Really?
Like we're leveling up, or it's like we're not, and it's really hard for a lot of people.
It's not easy. It's not easy, especially if you haven't been like spiritually like in tuned or spiritual centric or whatever you'd want to call it. It's hard to come into this, especially if you're not aware of it and then it's happening to you. That's another thing. There's a lot of people who aren't necessarily aware of it from that angle, but it's still happening to them. So it's hard. I was actually just watching this documentary today about the suicide in, you know, Japan has always had the suicide issue, and now it's growing because of COVID, and now more women are committing suicide. out there now, and it's just like this world, we need to get it together, or else we are in big trouble.
Dude, we're hurting.
Right.
You know, people are hurting.
Seriously.
Yeah, it's a heavy time, man. That's why we need to do things to like literally help heal ourselves first, and then I think when we do good things for ourselves, like we were saying earlier, it just kind of raises everything up around you.
Right.
And everything that we're in contact with kind of like gets to feed off of this like positivity that we're bringing to the situation. But yeah, when everyone's isolated, like what is anyone supposed to do?
I mean, there's only so much you can watch, and
yeah, no.
You know.
So what's your most memorable experience from a fan or somebody giving you like just your most memorable experience as an artist?
Oh my God. Well, dude, like I just get surprised every day with like these little, like the power of the internet, you know what I'm saying? Like it just connects people in this like incredibly hyper, kind of like hyper accelerated way, in that like someone in Poland can hit me up and tell me that they're like loving the album. You know, like to think that my music's being heard across the world, you know, that changes my consciousness.
Right.
You know, that's like that helps me evolve, because to think that like we didn't have a way of doing that for a long, long time. You know, I think ancient cultures were actually all communicating like telepathically and psychically, and like a lot of information was shared just because the channels were clear. But now we got so much shit in our way that it's impossible to do that. But fortunately or unfortunately, like technology has allowed us to connect in ways that we've like fallen out of touch with.
Right.
But dude, like every day my mind is blown. You know what I mean? And it's not just like interactions with fans, it's just interactions with people.
Right.
You know, and like shit, man. I mean,
there's some good people out there still.
We're finding each other.
Right.
You know, like I think now our eyes are open and we're looking for it a little more.
Right.
And I mean, no better way to connect than through the art. You know, I think it's the quickest way to like cut the fat and like kind of like access a part of people's emotions and spirit and psyche that's like very close to the heart, you know.
So what do you have now that the album's out? What's next for you?
I'm just trying to see what kind of opportunity opens up, because there's no way that I put this much energy into something and it doesn't have some sort of result.
Right.
You know, and it's like I'm not trying to limit the potential by putting like expectations on it. You know, I think the boundless potential is the exciting part.
Right.
But I do plan on traveling and linking up with people in the studios. Like shows, okay, yeah, shows sound great. Like I would love to play to an audience, and we got the whole like audio visual thing with the projections, but really it's just about like going out into the world and seeing what happens when I like just put myself out there with this body of work behind me that I'm like so very proud of, you know what I mean? Because it represents me well.
Yeah.
You know, and so people can know where I'm at. I don't have to explain myself. You know, it's like I'm not that type of person. I'm like trying to push my shit on anyone else. But like the art speaks for itself, and I think that's the thing about great art, is that it just commands attention.
It does.
Where are you traveling to?
I'm hitting Detroit, Baltimore, Philly, New York, Boston, just like a whole East Coast jump, but jumping off from Detroit, and I've never been there.
That's the Mecca.
Yeah. Techno.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to be sick.
Motown, dude. Omar S is out there. Moody Man.
Oh, yeah.
Just like the Dons.
Yeah. So what are you excited about most for the rest of this year?
Dude, I'm excited about, the year's coming. We're like
4 months?
Dude.
It's finished. This year went way too fast.
I'm excited for 2022. Because
me too.
Like multiples of twos are big for me if we're talking about numerology and angel numbers and stuff. Like 2022,
right?
There's something to look forward to in that. But this year, the rest of this year, man, I'm just like, I just want to ride this wave. You know, I don't see it stopping. I don't see like this. There's momentum. You know, I've been working. Definitely. I went really in, and now it's just like catapulted. The momentum's there. Like things are popping up that I feel like. I'm going to be in Mexico for Day of the Dead.
Oh, man. That's going to be crazy.
And that's the thing. You guys might have to meet me there. There's just things that are presenting themselves to me that I'm like, I don't even have to think about it. I'm just like, okay, I guess this is where I'm supposed to be headed right now.
Yeah, I'm excited to follow your journey.
Yeah,
see everything that's
like I was saying, man, what, you know, it's not just for me, it's for like all of us. What one of us, you know, it's to share.
Right.
You know, it's not shit if it's done selfishly. You know, I just want to take all my homies with me and like build the team, because I feel like at this point I've done all the work that I could on my own, and now it's just about building the team and expanding. And I've worked with the heaviest hitters in the game. I've seen how they work, you know, and I soaked up that game, and I realized it's about the vision and it's about the team. If you have those two things I mean, the budget's nice, but like, that's the thing. You can do crazy stuff if you just have the right people working with you who aren't obsessed with the dollar, you know, and like, cause the money comes. If you're working from your heart, like the universe is going to take care of you. So I've been shown, you know, at least in my experience. And that's something I have to like constantly trust in. Yeah. Because, you know, doubt creeps in. So I think the rest of this year is just about me, like just living in that, in my faith, you know what I'm saying? And just trusting that everything, like the song on the album, Trust Yourself. Yeah. These are mantras. These are like my spiritual mantras that I live by. The music is like it's how these like informations and like universal truths kind of present themselves to me. And then next thing you know, I have a song title that's like influencing my whole outlook. And it's like, I didn't name this song that. This is just what it
how it happened.
Yeah.
It's magic.
No, it's all magic, dude.
It's magic.
This is magic, and not in the sense of like, oh, you're like, you know, like you're like talking to owls, but like straight up like I talk to crows, but like whatever. But like, I mean, shit, there's no telling.
Damn, that's
amazing.
I feel like I've learned a lot about you tonight. You know what I mean? Like this, and this is our first night podcast. This makes hella sense. We usually do 11 in the morning. This is our first like nighttime podcast, and it makes hella sense doing it with you. You feel me?
Well, that's funny because the first song on my first EP, the Brogan Bentley EP, is called "Ask When I'm Night." And that was just the words that assembled from the samples that I put together of this. I think it was Donna Summer from the Valley of the Dolls soundtrack, and that's just the words that I pieced together in the samples. And then, but that has also had its own like teaching. Yeah, you know, like ask when I'm night. Like, what the hell does that mean? But it's really like, you know, approach me from this shrouded place of like mystery. Yeah. You know, and then like Phantom is also kind of like in that same vein. All these themes, you know, and these are albums that are separated by like 10 years, you know what I mean? But it's still like, I feel like I'll be doing things in 30 years that are like referencing stuff that I was doing when I was like, you know, when I first started playing music at like 5 years old. Yeah. Like, I feel like it's just all this big, like cyclical thing that kind of always just folds in on itself and repeats. And it's like, okay, I guess this is like forever now.
Right. But it's constantly evolving every time.
Without a doubt.
That's awesome.
I'd hope so, at least.
Yeah, it is.
You know, I got projects that are nothing like anything you've heard me do. Stuff that's just gonna flip your wig. Like you're not gonna see this one coming. I don't even want to talk about it yet.
You feel like you already been mentally like working on your new stuff?
Oh yeah. I mean, the music's been done for about like, I mean, now that it's out, you know, I haven't been working on it for a while. You know, I've been like writing new stuff, and I've been writing some electronic stuff for sure. Nice. But I'm writing stuff that sounds like nothing like any of that.
Nice. Artist is never done. You know what I mean? Like while I'm working on this painting, I have 2 more in my mind, right, and one that's like 90% finished. Yeah. You feel me?
And that'll drive you crazy too.
Yeah, it does. I was going crazy earlier today.
It's like it's good to finish things and, you know, take your time. Like right now, I have a long list of tunes, and it's just like each of them have all had stages, and it's just like I'm getting to the end of all of them now. So I have like 3 more joints that is just like once I do these 3, then it's just like okay, I'll clear this slate, and I have literally have a clean slate to do some new stuff. So yeah, it's a little process, especially at the end. I feel like I'm, you know, like it's like at the end of school when you just get into the drudgery of the end, and it's just like, oh man.
I mean, it's not easy to just do that in school, to just step back. Sometimes you just gotta step back from the work.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's true.
But also, I forget we talked about one time, like that's the time where if you can make it through it by just keep going, you'll
Right.
come out with something crazy too.
Right,
So
right.
I guess you just got to make a decision.
I've been working at it. I've been slowly working at it. So sometimes I'm just like, man, I can't be bothered. And then there's other days where it's just like, I just feel it. And it's just like, okay, I'm going to sit with it. Even if I just like get one song to completion, that will fuel me for the next couple of days or something. It's just like, okay, yes, I'm still on the path. I'm still working towards my end game, my current end game right now. So no matter what I'm always doing, so there's always something happening. But
Yeah.
it might not be every day sometimes. Sometimes it's every day for a long time, and sometimes it's just like once a week, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So
It's like the small, celebrating the small victories,
Right.
you know? And like, I think a lot of people get discouraged because like before a big project can be finished, you have to do all these millions of tiny little tasks,
Right,
you
right.
know? And it's like, those can feel daunting if you think too far ahead. But if you just kind of approach it like, okay, today I'm going to spend like an hour just sitting with the stuff. I don't
Right.
even care if I do anything to it, just like
Right.
sitting with it and
Right.
letting it show me what it wants, or just like chilling out and creating that space where my subconscious can actually like inform what I'm doing and not just like bugging out,
Like
you know
a
what I'm saying?
robot.
Yeah. But like also, you know, putting a body of work behind you is like the most incredibly like, I mean, it's like having a kid or something, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like this,
Yeah.
it's like letting your thing go out into the world. And there's almost, I had this like kind of like postpartum experience where I was like really like kind of depressed after finishing the thing. Cause like I had spent my whole, like every waking moment, if you will, was like, whether it was in the back of my mind or the front of my mind, like it was always like obsessing over this project, you
Right.
know? And so to have it done, I had to like kind of reevaluate like my life, because I didn't have this thing to identify with anymore. That's like my whole existence, you know?
Damn.
So that was like huge, you know, and I'm coming out of that.
right.
So I'm kind of like learning about who I am without this identity of like, I have a record that I have to finish, you
Right.
know, and like knowing that it's out in the world, like I just get to like see what happens.
Right.
You know, that's the beauty of it. But dude, yeah, totally like beating yourself up every day for like going out to a show and being like, I need to be home working on stuff. It's like, well, that's
Right.
also like very like obsessive and kind of like insane.
Yeah,
But not to say that like, that's just kind of,
that's just how it is.
that's the deal.
That is the deal. And it's
Hold
cool.
on. Let me restart it. I got one more question for you. What do you feel like the artist's role is in society?
The artist role in society? That's an awesome question, man.
And how important do you think it is?
Well, I think what I've like noticed over time is that like all the advancement of you can look at any society at any point in time and pay attention to what was happening creatively in that moment, you know, and that kind of exemplifies how evolved the culture was, how like, you know what I'm saying? You can
Yeah.
like look at the
Yeah.
art and that's
Yeah.
like
Art
the
speaks for the generation.
Right.
completely. I mean, and so I feel like if you're doing something that's actually like pushing it, then you're like raising everything up. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I feel like throughout time, people have looked to the artist as the one who's like, kind of like the person who's like leading the
Right.
charge, you know?
Right.
And there's all these like incredible figures throughout history, you know? And I think like some of those people are actually like ascended masters who were like put on earth to like teach us, you know? It's
I
like,
believe that.
dude, they weren't just like you know, these really important historical figures. They weren't just like people who lived thousands of years ago that like influenced like the Bible. They're like people like Bob Marley,
Right.
like straight up. Like
Right.
he
No,
that
for
dude
sure.
was put on earth to like help humankind like learn something,
Right.
and he was taken out. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it's just too much. The powers that be do not want this stuff.
They're all taken out at the end of the day.
That's what I mean, man. So I think there's no overestimating the role of the artist in society.
Right.
You know, if anything, we need to honor them more, because other cultures outside of America really kind of do.
Totally do.
Right.
Way harder.
At least
than
these
here.
days, you know.
I feel like here it's more of envy.
Yeah.
Being an
Somewhere
artist.
who's cool.
Yeah.
The coolest.
Well, that's why when you find people who aren't coming from that place of competition and just literal supportive, you know, energy, like y'all,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, that's why I'm going to stick with you guys no matter what. And I find that like I'm only working with people that I share like an actual personal relationship with, or like,
Yeah.
you know, someone that I trust is recommending these people because this stuff's too precious for me to put in anyone's hands.
Right.
You know?
Yeah,
I'm not even gonna, I'm not even gonna test it.
Right. Smart man.
It's a great answer.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the answer you needed.
Yeah,
but
That was an
it's
amazing
something.
answer.
Amazing,
You
yeah.
have any shout outs?
Oh my God, dude. Shout outs. I mean, Eric Wilson, who did all the artwork, I feel like at a certain point it came to him to like help me bring this to completion. And then my label, of course. But dude, there's so many people who helped with this record. Everyone I collaborated with, but like all the people that have like taught me things throughout the 7 years. I mean, shit, like that's like
Yeah, that's a time.
that's
some
like
time.
25 to 32. You know what I mean? Like that's like
a
Yeah,
lot.
that's a lot.
That's
Putting it
a
like
whole
that.
ass-
Yeah, yeah.
that's a whole ass like cycle,
Right.
like of some, like my Saturn return. You know what I'm saying? If we're talking astrology, like these are like the big formative like moments, you know.
Seriously, yeah.
And so everyone that I've encountered on this path is just so important to me. Even the people that like hurt me or that I hurt, you know, like it's just about kind of just like being grateful for like all the experiences and not judging something as good or bad. That's me trying to color something, you know.
Right.
It's just like, dude, I'm just grateful for like every single experience I've had in these 7 years that like informed this record, and now like it lives in its own
Right.
space, you know. Like, dude,
It's amazing. Man.
Love that, man.
Let's go.
This has been an amazing podcast.
It has. It
as
has.
always, but it's been really good doing it with one of our good friends. You know what I mean? Someone we haven't seen in a while either. You know what I mean? It's probably been like a month, but we don't should see each other as often as we should. People are
oh,
busy.
man, we're just
But
moving, man. We're
When you
we're
get back,
making
when you
moves.
get back, we're on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do something special. I want to kind of like organize an event that is like its own little special like
Yeah.
type of thing. You know what I'm
The
saying?
Brogan Bentley Festival,
Let's
bro.
Dude, the immersive like audio visual like sound healing like 12-hour concert.
That'd be sick.
You know what
That'd
I mean?
be tight.
That'd be sick.
We just got to find the space for it.
Yeah.
That's kind of all there is between making it happen and just dreaming it.
right. Space.
Well, this is Diverse Emotions Podcast,
Let's go.
bro. It's been
Hey.
real as fuck, man. We got Brogan Bentley here, man.
Let's
New
go.
album is out now. Diaspin Rex.
Diapason.
Diapason Rex.
It's a tongue
Yeah.
twister. And that's
Yeah.
that's intentional too. You're gonna have to think about it a little hard.
Y'all go download that. Y'all go buy it.
It's available
on
everywhere.
all platforms right now. Check out the videos. And where can everyone reach you at?
I like Twitter these days, man. I think
Okay.
Twitter's like that's where a lot of the most important connections I'm having, like on a global. You know, Instagram's cool. I got a Instagram for the music,
Yeah.
but I think Twitter is just like for whatever reason, just like really on point.
Nice.
And what's your handle?
Brogan Bentley
Cool.
at Brogan Bentley.
There it is.
Yeah, better go follow him.
Do
Yeah,
that.
better follow Diverse Emotions TV as well, man.
Hey,
Well, this is the
Going down.
Rainbow Prince. This is Kay.
It's classy touch.
right on, y'all. It's Brogan Bentley right here.
Oh, yo, we out.
Peace.